The Senate of Canada is probably the most misunderstood part of our parliamentary system, and yet its role is simple enough. The Senate proposes or suggests changes to draft laws, called bills, and studies issues that are important to Canadians, while paying special attention to the interests of regions, racialized communities, and minority groups. To do this, senators obviously take part in debates in the Senate chamber, but some of the most important work takes place in what's known as the heart and soul of the Senate, that is to say, in Senate committees. But just what is a Senate committee when it's all said and done? In Ottawa, it's a place for senators to hear from witnesses and dig deep into bills. Do these bills do what they're supposed to do? Should they do what they're proposing to do? Do they violate the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms? Are they in the best interest of Canadians? That important work is complemented by studies, where senators investigate issues that matter to Canadians. And sometimes, being in Ottawa just isn't enough, so senators hit the road. In recent years, the Senate Committee on Agriculture and Forestry traveled across the country to study the effects of climate change on those sectors and to figure out how we can adapt. The Human Rights Committee went deep inside Canada's maximum security prisons to understand what goes on behind bars and to speak to prisoners. And members of the Fisheries and Oceans Committee took to the high seas to assess our search and rescue capabilities. These are called fact-finding missions. On fact-finding missions, senators get a first-hand look at an issue and have the opportunity to speak to people most affected. It helps them to really get to the heart of the matter. And of course, when committees meet in Ottawa, they hear from experts and Canadians affected by what's being studied as well. These people are called witnesses. In fact, you could be a witness at a Senate committee meeting. When the Official Languages Committee was studying what it's like to grow up in a linguistic minority community, they organized a roundtable with young francophones from all over Canada to hear what they had to say.
En Saskatchewan, la réalité est que nous ne pouvons pas s'épanouir dans les deux langues officielles. La juridiction provinciale fait en sorte que le français est un mal de tête et non pas un atout.
That's right, young people as official witnesses. The Indigenous Peoples Committee has also met with youth to hear about life in their communities, to celebrate their successes, and to assess their challenges.
Our leaders are to be remembered as heroes, as they nearly died for us. Our legacy is to be warriors, just like them. I know because it is who I am.
Senators know that it's by listening to those affected by an issue that effective solutions can be found. Take 2006. That's when the Social Affairs, Science and Technology Committee did a detailed study on mental health. As a direct result of this study, the Mental Health Commission of Canada was created, which continues to build on the recommendations contained in that Senate report. Then, in 2011, the Human Rights Committee began a major study on cyberbullying. That's right, only 1 year after Instagram reached our smartphones, the senators saw the importance of protecting youth from all forms of mental violence. The report recommended that the federal government develop an anti-cyberbullying strategy, including education on human rights and digital citizenship. That, by the way, is how reports often end, with evidence-based recommendations that are made to the federal government. With about 18 Senate committees and many passionate, experienced senators to lead them, Senate committees are spectacular monuments to what can happen when Canadians and parliamentarians work together.